I'm gonna try to sing for my supper. Okay, alrighty. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Diana Wright Show live online. And we are so happy to have you here with us because you see it's a great day today. In the conclave, everyone is fascinated by what's going on. I don't even remember when Pope Benedict was elected Pope, but now I find myself so absorbed in the whole process and the robes and the colors and the different things they have to do. Like today, you just watched each and every one of the cardinals as they were sworn to secrecy. You know, they took the oath of secrecy, and that was so intense. And then all of them had on those rings on their right hand finger, and you know, it was just, to me, it was just an incredible scene. And then when the doors were closed, and then we wonder and ponder and wonder why and when will we see the smoke? Is it black smoke or white smoke or what? Well, the first smoke was white. No, it was not. Haha, I tricked you. No, it was black. So there is no Pope yet because they have to go to rest. Because that was my next question. They are locked in this room and they're sworn to secrecy, and there's even a blockage. They can't communicate with anyone in the outside world. No tweeting, no Facebooking, no cell phone, no iPhone, no smartphone, no phone. And just in case, you know, one of those Swiss guards look so statuette and, you know, look like they can't move, just in case they decide to use their iPhone to tweet something out or to text something out, whoops, that's blocked too. So I wonder, how do they go to the bathroom? Just in case they go to the bathroom, can they go do something in the bathroom? I was wondering about that today. And when they go to take a shower and go to bed tonight, can they just sneak in a little secret and let someone else know? No, they can't do that. They are men of the cloth, the holy ones, and they're supposed to listen and come on now, they can't cheat, okay? It's not like our politicians here who lie to us every day, like Mr. Paul Ryan, who's lying and have the nerve to want to take the rich tax rate from 39% to 25%. I think Mr. Paul Ryan, Congressman Ryan, I think he needs some love. How about that? Or maybe, I don't know. Either he needs his mother's love, his wife's love, or somebody's kind of love. Did he get hugged when he was a kid? Or is he just trying to be hugged now? How many times do people have to say to you, this is not going to work, my brother? You can't take care of the rich on the backs of the poor and the middle class. You just can't do that. We will not allow you to do that. His budget has no life. They lost on that same budget. And he has the nerve, he's stealing the things from President Obama's proposals and Obamacare, putting it into his budget and pretending like it's his own. I told you about the people that you work with, that you sit down with your boss and you work on a proposal by yourself. You hand it to your boss and that boss runs away with it to the chairman and pretend as if it's his. The student at school who works in a group with you and runs off and acts like the project was totally his or her idea. I think Paul Ryan has a problem. And he keeps talking about, oh, should we forget our principles because we lost the election? What principles is he talking about? The ones that they are obsessed with women's vajayjays, abortion and birth control? And what is rape and what is not rape? Legitimate and illegitimate rape? What are your principles, Mr. Congressman Ryan? Welcome to the Diana Wright Show live online. And you are listening to me right now from around the world and in the United States, and we thank you for doing so. We ask you to spread the word about this show, and we also ask you to give us the love on Facebook. But I think you all should go on Facebook and give Paul Ryan some love, because he looks like he needs some love. He looks like he needs to go to that mirror and say, I love me, and I need to stop hating on other people, especially poor people. And I need to give up Ayn Rand's thoughts, where you only need to forget about the poor and take care of the people who are making a contribution, as they say. So what are we going to do with Mr. Ryan? What do we do with him? I didn't really want to talk about him this evening because I think he's been ashamed and scrammed and told to go in a corner enough today. But it is unavoidable to address Congressman Paul Ryan, who is having the nerve. I could not believe the numbers I was hearing today. He wants to reduce the taxes for the wealthy from 39% to 25%. Who is he fooling? Which cloud is he living under? Is he just in denial every single day? Does he still think he's on the campaign trail lying about Obamacare and how the president raided Medicare and cut out this out of Medicare, and he's doing the exact same thing, trying to make us look as if we're stupid, or he thinks we're stupid because we are the 47%, so we don't have any sense, and we're a bunch of moochers. So, Mr. Ryan, you hate government. You want the budget to be balanced so much. Why don't you start firing some of your Republican friends, including yourself, so we can stop paying your salaries and take away your health care, and make sure that when there's election day, none of us turn up at the polls to vote for any one of you? Wouldn't that be wonderful? How wonderful would that be, Mr. Congressman Ryan? And all the people in your constituency? Let us take away all their Medicare. And anyone there who has Medicaid, let's take it away too. And any politician that comes from your neighborhood, we'll just fire them, take their income, their health care, their pension, everything. And then you tell me how that really feels. Is that a fair way to run a country? Because you're so obsessed with Ayn Rand? Ayn Rand is ugly anyway. Who wants to deal with her? She probably had her own problems and her own issues of not loving who she was. Because when I look at her, every time I go and try to research a little more part of her, all I see is this woman who looks very insecure. Even when she was doing an interview, she was. So how dare you try to follow her principles and try to kill all the poor people in this country? And then you're going to talk about repealing Obamacare. We had enough of Michelle Bachmann talking about repealing Obamacare. In case you didn't get the memo, Congressman Paul Ryan, it is the law of the land. It was approved by the Supreme Court of the United States of America. Even John Boehner, Speaker Boehner, admitted it is now the law of the land. We need to move on, press on, do something else. Why are you so obsessed? And he is not the smartest guy in the room. And he's not a numbers guy, because what he's doing is cooking numbers and making we think we're stupid. And he's cooking the numbers and they cannot add up, because he doesn't really know math. He's pretending to know math, like he's pretending with his muscles and his stuff, and he's running up and down the steps in the Capitol and all that kind of stuff that he does to try to get attention. I think his mother needs to go to Washington and give him some hugs. And so does his wife. And his children maybe too. Whew. Paul Ryan, give it up. Stop it. It's ridiculous. You look stupid. Just like you looked at the night of the debate with Joe Biden. Vice President Joe Biden. Remember that night? when he kept drinking the water? Is this a water drinking thing with the Republicans? Marco Rubio drank, you drank. You're always thirsty because you're always so evil and hateful. That's the reason you're always so thirsty. Because he just kept on sipping the night of the debate with Vice President Biden and himself. I was wondering, how many times is he going to drink from that cup? Is there going to be any water next time he takes it up? I kept asking myself that. So please, Mr. Ryan, give up the fact that you're trying to keep the wealthy wealthier, including yourself, because he is indeed a wealthy guy, you know. His dad died and left him lots of money. And he has acquired money himself. So let him not fool you and act as if he's trying to, you know, do anything for poor people. No, he's not. And all them seniors that he fooled up, I'm going to use some colloquial terms now, that he tricked to vote for them because they were too stupid enough. They were just too stupid to take time to listen to what he was actually saying. And a lot of those seniors probably couldn't hear very well or see very well. They were tricked into voting for Mitt Romney, and he keeps giving out these numbers. Oh, the seniors all voted for us, so they understood. No, they did not understand what you were saying, because when you and Mitt Romney present this whole Medicare trickery, and because you're always talking against the black president, who just happens to be black and white, those old women and old men, mostly white, were not thinking about what you were saying. They were just hearing what they wanted to hear. They didn't bother to go into the details of everything you're trying to do and the way you're trying to hurt poor people and talk about Ayn Rand. Why? If you and the Tea Party and your fellow Congress people and Senate people who are Republicans who hate government, not talking about the ones who are reasonable, talking about the ones you hate government, you want government to be smaller, why are you trying to get a job with the government and keep that job? Quit the job. And why are you trying to take away other people's health care when you have the best health insurance in the land, on the planet? So you and your wife and your children don't have to worry about health care, or Medicare for that matter, or Social Security, because you're so wealthy you don't need Social Security, so you can opt out. And you can also opt out of Medicare because you have what you have, the best of the best. So we're just asking Mr. Paul Ryan to please stop. We are not dumb. We're not foolish. We're not stupid. We're not deaf. We're not blind. We understand what you're trying to do. And the numbers don't lie. From 39 to 25, maybe you should learn to add. And I don't care how smart you think you are, because I think that's basically what it is. You know, some of those people who are too smart for their own good, and then they fall into the ditch. That's my prediction for you, Congressman Ryan. And you need to just go and sit in a corner and let no one see you again for a while, coming up with that stupid budget, the same budget that you had when you lost the election. What do you think, we're stupid? No, we're not. Okay, so from black smoke to the blacker smoke of Mr. Paul Ryan, because what he's spewing is just black smoke. So we only want to see black smoke coming from the Vatican until we see white. We don't want to see black smoke coming out of Paul Ryan's mouth, because that's really what it is. He hates anyone who is not white, who is not successful, who is not as privileged as he is. Yet I'm sure every single person in his constituent is not rich. There has to be some poor people that voted for him. And I would imagine there must be some brown and some black people too. So Mr. Ryan, just go home, quit your job And then you'll be one less for the government to pay out money to. So we'll have a little smaller government without you being there. How about that? I think that's a good idea. Anyway, all right, let's, and that woman who was trying to sell her baby. Can you imagine? She has 2 children and she's trying to sell her 2 kids to raise money to get her boyfriend out of jail. Women like those should not have children, okay? And she was not even a woman anyway. She looks like a little girl to me who just happened to have 2 babies, trying to sell them online. What is wrong with our people? When is it that children become sellable? What do you think, you're in TJ Maxx or something? My Lord, I could not believe what I was reading. She's trying to sell her 2 kids so she can raise money to bail out her boyfriend, who needs to probably just stay in jail where he is. Why did he go there in the first place? And you young women out there, I'm just going to talk to you right now as I welcome you to listen to and thank you for joining the Diana Wright Show live online. You need to stop looking at these guys who are losers and going nowhere. And all those boys with their pants hanging down and their underwear showing, we don't need to see your underpants. And we don't need to watch you walking and holding up the front of your pants as if you has a load of what you call it in it. So young women, get some pride in yourself. And stop hanging out with these boys, letting them realize that they become fleas, so nobody wants to be with them, and see if they don't change. Stop hanging out with them. And other boys who are in the group who are not doing the same thing, you need to kick those guys to the curb and let them straighten up before you even offer to be their friend. You need to have no friend with his pants showing down, boom, all the way halfway his butt. What is that about? And that afro pick in his hair and his sandals and socks. Looks so disgusting. You need to stop it. And all them white kids trying to copy them black kids, and then when they go home to their mansions they have to straighten up. We need to fix that. We truly need to fix that part of our society. Young black men, just the way they look, the cops think they're up to something, even if they're not up to anything. The way you look is crucial and important. And however bad you feel about yourself, if you're looking bad, you're just going to feel worse. So at least if you try to look good, even if you think of yourself as ugly or black or whatever, and you want to be somebody else, at least when you dress nicely, you can look in the mirror and say, wow, I do look good, so I must be able to love myself then, since I look so good. So all the mothers out there and the fathers out there, you need to get your young men straightening up, walking straight, and stop dragging their feet to try to hold that pants up. Every time I see it, I saw it this evening again, it drives me crazy. Okay. All right. Young power. Continuing with you in this spirit. Because you know what a teacher did today in Israel? What she did was actually quite disgusting. Because what she did was she was sending out an email to the students about a field trip that they were supposed to have. But along with that, as God would so have it, she attached some of her private thoughts about her students. And I'll tell you, they included things like liar, grown baby, sick, speaks like a 4-year-old, not so smart. Now, why on God's green earth or brown earth would a teacher be writing down that in an email or in her computer? What is the purpose of that? If you're thinking it, No one else needs to know but you. Or when you go home, you can talk to yourself about it. But why would you do that? A computer is a thing that lots of things can happen. So why would you set yourself up in that situation? That you would write down things like this about your students? The poor students were so shocked. And it happened at a high school in Israel called Yitzhak Rabin High School in Kfar Saba. Wow, teachers, you have time to sit down at your computer to write bad thoughts about students? I'm sure you all think it, but you don't have to write it down. That is indeed stupid. So that stupid teacher, her students were so shocked and I guess disappointed because she looks like a nice enough lady. But my God, have a heart. Show some love. And if you're gonna hate, don't write it on paper. Keep it in your brain. So, I'm sure someone somewhere in Israel might be listening. Hope they know her so they can go and knuckle her head for doing something so stupid. Whew. Good news on the business front. If you want to buy made in America, it's getting easier. Yes, it is. Because a lot of factories are finding ways to build their products in the United States of America. Just like what President Obama has been asking them to do. A lot of them are doing it, and the savings are coming to you in your pockets. So we want to applaud all those business people. Those 1%ers maybe. We envy no one for what they have here. We just believe that if you have wealth, enjoy your wealth. But don't try to destroy the people who are not so fortunate. Let them live too. Give them a chance to survive also. Don't try to trample them as Paul Ryan is trying to do. Don't bring up that Ayn Rand foolishness. Let the people below the 1% have a chance of life also. And a chance of a decent life, because a lot of poor people are very happy with what they have. They just don't want what they have to be taken away. A lot of poor people, Mr. Paul Ryan, does work hard. Some of them have 2 and 3 jobs, part-time jobs, can't even make one of your a week of your salary. So give them a break. Stop trying to make the rich richer in the country on the backs of the poor middle-class people who have no lobbyist in Washington to fight for them. The only person that seems to be fighting for poor people and middle-class people right now is President Obama. And you all are trying to cut his foot off so he can't do anything. He's trying now to have you guys to dinner. He invited Boehner and McConnell to the White House for a preview of Lincoln, the movie. They turned him down. Oh, it was short notice. How much notice do you need to go to a movie, Mr. Boehner and Mr. McConnell? Speaker Boehner, Senator McConnell, how much time do you need to say yes to a movie invite from the President of the United States? And how, where, and what do you all want President Obama to do to please you guys? You already hate him. You tried to get rid of him, and you didn't, and you couldn't. So what else do you need him to do? He invites you to dinner. He called you on election night, actually, John Boehner again and Mitch McConnell, and you both were sleeping, mysteriously sleeping. And I know you were not sleeping. You are just being rude and disrespectful. How about that? Because you see, a lot of politicians seem to think that we are all a bunch of moochers and 47%ers and 30%ers. And we don't want to see this country move forward, and we are making no contribution. That is not so. Because without your vote, our votes, as Mitt Romney learned, white men alone cannot win you any national election or any other election for that matter. And despite all the rigging and the cheating and the Virginia guy talking about, if we do voter ID, Mitt Romney has Virginia done. Yeah, done? It ain't done. Because he is the loser and could never, ever, ever have won that election. Why don't you all Republicans just sup it up and go in a corner somewhere and allow the country to run so people can prosper, and all those businesses that are sitting on their loads of cash in the bank will start hiring people and manufacturing goods so that people can have money in their pockets when they have a job, and they will then buy your products. Because one of the things about poor people that Paul Ryan does not really understand, when they have money, they spend it more than when white rich people have money or black rich people. Because they're going to the beauty parlor, they're going to do their fingers, they're going to do their toes, mani-pedi, everything. And when the money is finished, it's finished, and they wait till the next paycheck. So they contribute to the economy much quicker in consumer goods than your wealthy people, because your wealthy people is buying one Bugatti and that's it. Or they're buying one Rolls Royce and that's it. And where is that being bought? Overseas. But those poor people that you so look down on, Congressman Ryan, they're the ones who are the drivers of the spending in this economy. So just in case you were planning to buy appliances or anything like that, you need to look for the seal Made in America. When I was growing up, everything was made in America. I am so shocked right now that everything, whether it's expensive or it's cheap or middle road, it's made in China. I have tried my best to boycott China, but it's hard. It is really hard, because everything you pick up, whether it looks expensive or it's inexpensive, it doesn't really matter. Made in China. So we want to see made in America. And when we say made in America, for those of you who are manufacturing, we want to know that the quality is better than China. Not the same as China, but better than China. Then I would be happy to buy made in America, because I really don't want to buy made in China. I don't mind made in Italy, or made in France, or made in England, or made in Germany, or Australia, or New Zealand. But made in China, man, they just whip them things out. When you pull one thread, don't be pulling no thread that you see hanging down in your jacket. Because if you pull the thread, the whole jacket comes apart. All right? So let's be careful about that. Anyway, Apple seems to be selling less iPhones, I believe. That's what they're saying. Their stock is kind of slipping a little bit. Apple shares have fallen 18% year to date. Can you imagine that? Steve Jobs must be rolling in his grave. And more than 38% since the iPhones went on sale. Samsung, I'm told, is coming out with their new ready-to-roll Galaxy S4. So I guess you have to be looking out for that. I'm going to check it out. I want a phone that you can write on the phone and everything, because, you know, you don't want to forget anything. Sometimes you just want to write some little notes down, and you can do it on that phone. That's the phone I like, but I don't see anybody else having it. Everybody else I see not wanting what I want. But I saw it in which store was I? I saw it in a store, and I thought, wow, that's a good phone. It's kind of big, though, because, you know, it's almost as big as one of those Kindle tablets, but it's not as big. So I don't know if no one liked it and they took it off the market, but is it still existent? Anyway, welcome once again to the Diana White Show live online. You are watching me in action here at 8 o'clock, and we are doing it again tomorrow morning at 10:30. And my special guest tomorrow morning will be Dax Dunn. We're going to talk about wellness. Of course, loving yourself is my crusade. And I now have my cards ready to give out when I go out on the street so people can spread the word about the Diana Wright Show live online. We thank you for joining, and we thank you for spreading the word and giving us the love, some love on Facebook. We just love that, and give us the thumbs up and tweet us. Say something about the show and what you'd like to see happen on the show, okay? So we thank you for that. And we also want to remind you that come April 30th, it is the International I Love Me Day. So it's worldwide. We're going to do our best to get it out there and have this word spread. I don't know what to do, but there is somebody out there that's going to spread the word and let it fly like wildfire. Because loving yourself, you see, takes you to the pinnacle where you want to go, keep you in the realm of excellence, and make you want to do the right things for yourself and your children. So love yourself today. Did you look in the mirror today? And if you have to stay there for 50 and count to 50, just count to 50 before you leave that mirror, because you're still trying to convince yourself that I need to love myself. I challenge you to do that. I challenge you to let your children do that until they get it. Alrighty? Okay. So that's it for some business happening there. If you are a retiree, I never normally do things about retirees, but you know, because I always, retirement is something I don't think about. I don't want to think about, because I do believe as long as you have energy and strength and good health and you can work less, because you want to, you know, have free time to travel and do all those things, which you shouldn't wait until you retire to travel, please. Start traveling now. There's nothing like the present, right? So, because retirement for me, what do? Sit home, you go to the senior center. I don't want to do that. I want to be active and doing stuff and busy and, you know, making money and all that kind of good stuff when I retire. If and when. I don't even think about the word. But anyway, if you're planning to retire, but when you retire, you realize that you're so bored you need to do something else. These are some tips for you. Highlight your professional and personal experience. Because you see, when you do that and you show that you can actually write a memo and you can do a project and you can do your PowerPoints and all that kind of stuff, and you were in a managerial position and you were doing it well, a lot of these younger people who are whipping out the older people for jobs, they don't have a clue. So now the industry is turning back to elderly people, older people who seem to be a little wiser, a little more grounded, and a little smarter. Stay current. Make sure you keep up with all the technology and, you know, everything that's going on around you. And also parents, make sure you know the music that your children are listening to and what they're doing online. I've just banned my daughter from that laptop for a while until after finals. Maybe then she could get it back for the summer, you know, because these kids, I mean, they will trick you, you know. You think they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, like studying and all that. I mean, you go in the room, they go click, and you go, so what were you doing while you changed the screen since I come in? Oh, nothing. Who are you trying to fool? Parents, don't let them trick you. They are trickier than ever. And they will trick you because you just can't move your fingers as fast as they can move theirs. So I'm just advising parents right now. Don't allow your children to trick you and give you that guilt trip. Oh, you don't praise me when I do something right. Only when I do something wrong. But when you get good grades, you're not doing it for your parents. You're doing it for yourself. I am speaking to all the young people out there. Whatever you become in life is for you, not for your parents. Your parents they've already lived their lives. They just want you to succeed. So don't act as if you're doing your parents a favor when you get a 90 or you get 100 or look, I didn't fail. No, you're doing yourself a favor. Just like if you love yourself. If you don't love yourself, you're going to get into bad company. You're going to try to find a guy to fill that hole in your heart for yourself. Then you're going to get pregnant. Then you're going to be a loser. Because a lot of young people, when they get pregnant, they never seem to get back on the education track. And that's the track you all need to focus on. All you young people out there. And if you're older and your dream is to go back to school, let no one tell you that you can't do it. Look at the man last week. 109 he was. Just got his high school diploma. If he can do it, so can you. If he can do it, I can do it too. That's what you tell yourself. Talk to yourself. Have a positive conversation with yourself. You're not crazy. You don't need to be fixed. You don't need any help. You need to help yourself with these little things. I'm not talking about what the government does for you or what your mother do for you or whatever. I'm talking about what you can do for you. What you can do for you is simply love who you are. All of you. From the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. And whatever tragedy you've been through, God will turn it into good, into advantages, into opportunities. So let us not dwell in our blues tonight. Let's try to get out into the green and love ourselves. And join my crusade. I Love Me crusade. That's what I'm doing. That's the major thrust of this program. Do you love yourself tonight? Are you feeling down on yourself tonight? How do you feel about yourself right now? What thoughts are you telling yourself right now? Deep in your heart and in your head and in your spirit. What negative thing did someone say to you today that made you wonder, should I really love myself and listen to that Diana Wright on the Diana Wright Show live online? Or should I just continue down this path of destruction? No, you should listen to me. Because I am here to encourage you, to uplift you, to give you hope. And let you know that tomorrow is a better day even if today was a bad one. And not all days are going to be good. Not all days you're going to be loving-doving with your husband and your wife or your significant other. Some days you're going to be like, why did I even marry this fool? But then you realize whatever it is at that moment is making you angry, and you should acknowledge that anger. Don't pretend and push it under the rug and act like you are Miss Perfect or Mr. Perfect. You did something, it offended or made the other person feel bad. And do something for your loved ones. And don't try to be telling me that you did something for me 10 years ago, because I don't even remember what you did 10 years ago. I want to know what you're doing today. And my friends, same thing. I don't want to be the one buying you things all the time and you do nothing for me. I don't want to do that. And you should allow your friends to do that. You shouldn't be the one calling your friends all the time and inviting them out to something. Or you shouldn't be the one picking up the tab all the time. Reciprocity is what relationships are about. And it's not that you're measuring what people do for you or you're counting how many times they call, because people like to say, oh, so what, you're counting how many times you called me and how many times I called you? No, it's not about that. It's about reciprocity. The fact that you're doing something and people have to show love and not just talk about, I love you, I love you, I love you. You can say that to yourself, I love me, I love me, I love me, I love me, I love me 50 times for the day. That's a good thing. But don't be telling other people that you love them and then you're not showing them the love. Love is an action word. And I am commanding you to love yourself. Love is something that none of us would like to live without. Some of us could, but wouldn't want to. Because being loved is a good thing. Loving yourself is a good thing. Having your parents' love, your girlfriend's love, your significant other's love, that's a good thing. But the love for yourself, that is the greatest love of all. So I encourage you, each and every one of you listening to me from around the world and in the United States, to make yourself a pledge and a promise and command yourself to love yourself, because it's important. Alrighty. So, anyway, moving right along with this list, stay current, find new ways to benefit the company, use your network. That's another thing. If you know a lot of people that can help you, don't be afraid to ask. All they can do is say no, or they'll just be a jerk and not help you. But most of the times when you ask people for help, they will actually help you. Some of them will offer to mentor you. I heard one young lady talking about the fact that Toni Morrison offered to mentor her. And she's a famous author. She didn't have to do that. Unlike a lot of famous people who really just want to be in the spotlight by themselves. They don't want to help anyone. And they come on television and pretend as if they want to help, and when you write them, your letter just goes filing under G, which you know what that is. Garbage. Okay. All right. Next one. Consider part-time or freelance work. A lot of us are very talented. A lot of us can do great things because we have worked and we have experience. But when you say you have experience, all of a sudden everybody thinks you're old. So, utilize those. So, work part-time if you have to. And freelance. Freelance your talent. Okay? 52% of women age 60 and over say they will or most likely work part-time after they've retired. So that's the statistics, and you know, we can't really hide that. So if you have some skills, use those skills and freelance with those skills. And ladies and gentlemen, let us not look down on the older people. You know, those over 40 executives and CEOs of Yahoo and Google and all these different companies. And they try to act as if they're the smartest people in the room. Check their privilege box and see what was in it. And check your privilege box and see what's in it. And see who had the most opportunity. I keep saying that. We all need simply an opportunity. Someone to believe in us. Someone to help us. Like being on this show and doing this show, Pastor Blackwood believed and remembered me as a Diana Wright from Jamaica who did my talk show and did it so well. And it was so successful. So he planted the seed in my brain that he will help me to get this broadcast together. And yes, he did. And he's still helping me every day. I call him up, he has to text me back, I'm in a meeting. And I'm panicking because I don't know how to do some technical stuff. Because I'm not a technical person. I'm a talker. I'm an in front of the camera. I can do behind the camera too. I will write and I will do all those other things. But I hate them buttons and them things. You know, I have to do it now, so I do it. But I'd rather not. But you got to do what you got to do to get to where you want to go. This is my platform that God has given me through Dr. Blackwood. And the platform to speak to you every single day, Monday to Friday. What a great opportunity, and I thank you for joining me. I appreciate you for watching me. I appreciate the people who come on the show and speak and help you and give you information, because that's what we're here for. Do you have access to call Brian Williams on NBC of Rock Center? Nightly News too? Diane Sawyer? No, you don't. But you can call here and you can get personal help. You can be validated. Okay? So, write the number down. Tell your friends about the Diana Wright Show online. We're live 10:30 in the morning and 8 at night. And if there's some great thing happening and I need to come back on, I'll come back on. So let's do this. Let's work together without envy and jealousy and backstabbing and who don't want to do this now and who don't want to do this tomorrow. And No, let's work together and make it happen. We are greater in numbers. Oneness is greatness. Okay? So let's think about it that way. Access. Having access in the media is a powerful thing to have and to be a part of. So if you'd like to be a sponsor of my show, or if you'd like to be a partner of my show, or if you'd like to advertise on my show, you can give us a call or go on our website and leave your information there. My email address is dianawrighttv@gmail.com. The phone number for calling in and getting information, and also to call in live online when we're on live, 561-228-1921. That's 561-228-1921. So we invite you to, be part of the show. Okay. Let's move to a little health news now that, I discovered today. A new study confirms that women who take aspirin have a lower risk of developing melanoma or skin cancer. Researchers tracked 60,000 women for 12 years. Those researchers, man, they are patient. 12 years, 60,000 women, and found that those who took aspirin were 21% less likely to develop skin cancer. Wow. The longer the women took aspirin, the stronger its effects. Women who used aspirin for 5 or more years had a 30% lower risk. Aspirin works by reducing inflammation in our bodies. And that's what we want to do. We want to reduce our inflammation. That's the reason they say don't eat certain processed foods, because that adds to your inflammation. So without inflammation, you won't feel any aches and pains. Inflammation gives you that ache and pain. All right? So keep that in mind. Speak to your doctor before you start taking them aspirins, though. But Steve Jobs' doctor was on Fareed Zakaria over the weekend, and he said he doesn't know why doctors are not telling their patients to take an aspirin a day. He seems like he knew what he was talking about. So you want to discuss this with your doctor too. And maybe you need to start that aspirin regimen. Now, aspirin is, it's known to be healing cancer and doing this and doing that. Wow. And he also said that taking vitamins, waste of your time. It does nothing for you. As a matter of fact, he went as far as saying that he thinks that vitamins might be feeding the cancer. So, if you're like me, who don't like to take pills and vitamins are not one of my friends, then you're in good stead. But if you're taking vitamins, he's advising you to get off them vitamins. Wow. Not so good news for the states that are busted in the housing recovery. There are some states that are doing great in the recovery of the housing that went to the shambles in 2008, starting from about 2006, 2007, somewhere there. The housing market, it crashed basically. It's trying to come back now. But how is it coming back? It's coming back in certain places first, and I'll give you the best places first. So it's starting off in North Dakota. And residents in North Dakota, my friends, have the second best, highest credit scores in the country. Who knew North Dakota? Minnesota, number 2, and Minnesota has the highest credit score. Yeah, the highest credit scores in the United States of America. So if you're living in Minnesota, you must be feeling very good today. Very good this evening. In New Hampshire and South Dakota, those two tied for 3rd place. So obviously there's no 4th place. Nebraska was next, and Montana rounded out the list of the best recovery in the housing market in the United States. Now let's go to the ones that are still busted and disgusted. Having more foreclosures than anyone else is Florida. Florida is number 3 on the worst list, ranked last in mortgage delinquencies and foreclosure inventory. Why? Because everybody in Florida was trying to get $1 million for their houses when it wasn't worth more than $10. How about that? Okay.